All right, this is my first attempt at a YouTube video ever. Nothing is scripted. This is all just coming off the top of my head. I'm sorry if you can hear the rain beating off the roof. It's been raining here for basically the last week, and it's not gonna be stopping anytime soon. So we're just gonna have to push through it. Anyway, this here is my 1993 Dodge W250. Extended cab long bed. Of course, it's got the 5.9 under the hood. It has 200 and I believe 58,000 miles. We'll look inside here in a minute and get an exact number on that. And basically just kind of doing a walk around, just talking about what I've done to it and maybe what I plan to do in the future. And like I said, nothing has been written down. There's no script I'm following, so bear with me. I'm just kind of walking around it and looking at stuff that I may have done and talking about it a little bit. Start at the front. Main things up here are the bug shield you see across the front. It's kind of an old man thing. I like the look of it. I think it just kind of completes the look of this truck. I got this off eBay. It's a new old stock. It came in the original box. I got it from Derek Smith. His Facebook name is Keeper Tuned, and he sells every part you could ever want for this truck. And he had a bunch of these for sale, and well, I just thought it looked pretty good. And I'm not gonna lie, for a guy that totally eyeballed it, putting it on, I think I did pretty good on the measurements. Moving down, we have the KC lights. I've actually got a couple of pretty cool covers for these, but I actually use these quite a bit, so I don't usually leave them on. I didn't put these on. These were here when I got the truck. They're super bright, and they're old. I mean, when you touch them, they're hot. I think they also just complete the look. I wasn't a huge fan at first, but I've gotten used to it over the years. And that there is my license plate off eBay. Here in my state, you only need one plate, so thought might as well put something pretty cool up there. And I'm a huge fan of outlaw country. You maybe see it through the windshield there, but I got a Willie Nelson air freshener hanging from the mirror. I got a little nod to Johnny Paycheck as well. And on the rear, on the bumper, I've got a nice nod to Waylon Jennings. All right, let's move around the side. You've probably noticed already that this is not original. It doesn't have any of the trim going down the side. I don't know when exactly it was redone / restored. It was long before I had it, and I'll kind of point out some areas where you can see that. It looks pretty good from a distance, though. You know, a true fan would know that it should have trim going down that bottom body line, but it doesn't bother me. I like how it looks. Wheels and tires are obviously not stock. Wheels were on it when I got it. I put the tires on. Those are 295 Toyo Open Countries. I think they've got 4,000 miles on it now. I don't drive this thing a whole lot, so they look dirty, but they're still pretty new. I mean, I definitely don't drive in the rain. That's why it's as clean as it is. You can see it's a little dirty right there from when I've been leaning on the side of it, working on it. But oh yeah, and there's some up here as well. But she's a garage queen for the most part. Moving down the side. It used to have some ugly steps on it, but I took those off, and I think those are actually against the wall over there. But not a big step guy. I like as much clearance as possible, and I just like the clean look without the steps. He also used to have this like awful bed cover on it, so got rid of the bed cover. Like I said, don't put anything in there anyway besides some sticks, which is what I was doing last weekend, or the weekend before. Moving down the side, we come to our first kind of spot. You can kind of see it right there. Yeah, and this is the good side. The driver's side fender it's got some spots in it. There's something on the paint right there, a scratch or something. I always get questions about the mud flaps. I I did not put those on there. And they don't look like they're anything fancy. They appear to be self-tapped into the bedside. But I don't know. I may change those up. Haven't quite decided yet. You can see that bump stop is seen better days. Let's go around here to the back. Got the rag over the license plate, because I don't want people finding out where I live just yet. There's my nod to Waylon Jennings. I think that's pretty sweet. Part of the missing of the badges, you know, it's missing the body trim, it's missing the LE badge up on the cab corner, it's missing the Power Ram logos on the side of the fenders. Is you don't quite know what package the truck is from a distance. Like this here is not the, I don't believe this is the original tailgate, just because it's got LE features in it, and it would be really weird if it had a non-LE tailgate from the factory, I think. So at some point it probably got switched out. You know, most fans know that it's got the silver plate across the back, and it just says Dodge, and it's got the red stripe that goes from right to left by the handle. Going around the side, it's a little close to the wall here, so try to step back and zoom out. Here's our problem right here. This is the worst spot on the vehicle, actually. And it's not terrible. It's mostly just rock chips and paint's starting to bubble. There's no actual rot going through. Like, you can't push your finger through it, but it just kind of looks bad. That's all. Everything else, though, looks pretty good. Whoever did the paint, I wouldn't say did an excellent job, but, you know, it looks good from a distance. And it looks good up close when it's clean. This up here, of course, you have to have a nod to Vice Grip Garage, who's a big inspiration of mine. I watch his videos all the time, and it's kind of what inspired me to work on stuff. So, had to pay a little homage to him. This door's really dirty. You can see it bad. Can't see it well. It's pretty dark in here. This isn't my favorite spot. But there's a pretty good dent right there in the door. It's about right here. Not sure where it was from. It was there when I had it. Doesn't bother me too much. You really have to be shining a light on it to see it, so I don't let it bother me. Not much to say about this part. I will say I have replaced these wiper bushings twice now. So, and that's another reason why I don't drive in the rain. One, just to keep it nice. Two, because I hate using the wipers. Because when those bushings inevitably explode, it is such a pain to remove this and get this windshield seal back where it needs to be. So, I try to avoid that as much as possible if I can. Cab lights work. The one on the far left over there, sometimes you kind of got to hit it a few times, but they all work. All right, let's open it up. This door doesn't close great, and that's my fault. I was backing out of the shed one day, and I had the door open like so. I was backing up, and we have a big welder, and I caught it with the edge of the door, and it kind of tweaked it a little bit, but it still closes decent. But the passenger side, I mean, you could just do that, and it closes it. But let's open it up. I haven't cleaned this thing in a while, so forgive me for that. But power locks, power windows, LE feature. It's got no cruise control buttons, but you can feel on the back where the cruise control buttons go. So another LE feature that's there but missing. Power mirrors as well. Nothing is focusing, and it is not good. Trailer brake control module. I did not put that in there. That was there when I got it, and I very, very rarely haul anything with this thing, so it's pretty useless. There's our KC light switch. Overdrive, cargo light, also LE features. Radio. Now, when I got this thing, it did not have the factory radio. It had an older Alpine system in it, and it's got Alpine speakers in the door. And it wasn't a Bluetooth system, and I'm a pretty much a purist, and I wanted to have an original radio, but at the same time I was like, well, it's already kind of been hacked up and had an aftermarket put in, and I'm just going to put in an aftermarket Bluetooth. So I did, and I don't regret that decision. I enjoy it quite a bit. Get up in it. Also, got to have the Vice Grip Garage keychain. Up here we got a couple of aftermarket gauges, tack right there, and there's your exhaust gas pyrometer. Not a huge fan of these. I wish I had a factory tack up there. They're just expensive, so for now we're gonna have to live without. All the gauges do work, and there's our odometer, 258,788. I've had this thing for almost 5 years now, and I've put, I want to say, 6,000 miles on it in that time. So don't drive it much, like I said. AC doesn't really work, but I mean, it's 30 years old, so I don't really get too offended about that. And I usually just roll the windows down anyway, so not worried. No warning lights on normally, so that's pretty good. 4-wheel drive indicator. 4-wheel drive does work. It's a good time. Only thing I don't like about this truck is I wish it was the 5-speed. I like the automatic, it's fine, but you know, when the automatic inevitably dies, 5-speed will be going into it. Supposedly, I don't know how you could ever verify this. I guess you could find the numbers on the transmission, the engine, but this is a all original drivetrain. Nothing's ever been taken out of it or anything. That's what, at least that's what the old owner said. So I have no reason to doubt that. Here's something that I think is pretty cool. Let me get these out of the way before I take the camera back there. Something you don't see very often back here is a bench seat. And, you know, you're probably thinking that's an aftermarket seat. Well, if you look at the fabric, and then look at the fabric on the seat, it's matching. Seatbelt buckles are matching. Normally they have the fold-down seats, and you can still see the backrest for it right there. I'm not sure where that came from. I assume it was a dealer option, but I'm not too sure. Got a rifle rack back there, sliding window. Looks pretty good. But if anybody knows anything about that bench seat, whether it's factory, whether it's dealer option, whether somebody just had one custom made, let me know, because I've always wondered about that. And I've asked a couple of guys that know way more about these than I do, and none of them really seem to have an answer either. So I'm always wondering about that. Alrighty, let's pop the hood and check that out. Also, no tears in the seat at all. You can see there was one here at one point, but somebody stitched it up and they done a good job. I try not to slide in and out of this thing. I try to just stand up and get out, because fabric for this is non-existent. So if that tears again, then I'm probably in trouble. So I try to take as much good care of it as I can. You can see up here the headliner's solid. There's no sagging anywhere. There's my nod to Willie Nelson right there. Focus. Yeah, good enough. Anyway, still have our plaques and stickers and stuff. Drip rail is the weakness on these rigs. I mean, you can just see the paint chipping off and a little bit of rust showing through. There's also some down here by the door seals, which, I mean, I want to say that's pretty common. This thing just holds water so bad. Every time I wash this thing, I have to peel back this door seal and get it with a rag real good, or else it will rust or continue to rust. But I'm no body man, as much as I'd like to be, so at some point that will have to be addressed. The windows actually don't leak on this thing. It's a miracle. The only one that kind of leaks is over there, like right there by that screw. I don't know what it is, but, and that's kind of where the wind, there's a little bit of wind noise that comes in, and it's over there too, so I guess I'm not surprised, but it's good enough that I'm not going to replace it. Like I said, don't drive it in the rain much anyway. The only time water really gets in is when I wash it, so yeah. All right, well, let's open the hood. First, I'm going to show you the passenger door and how good it closes. So, oh, also, on the mirror, I blew that off with a pressure washer. Wasn't very happy about that. Ignore these die casts. I need to get these out of here. I don't know why they're just sitting here. So we'll just set those on the ground for now. Okay. No rot or rust in this door frame at all, which is really weird to me. Looks like this one's had the same stitching done to it, but otherwise in good shape. Door cards are all in great shape. This one here, somebody grabbed onto it and tried to close it from there and just broke it off, which is, I mean, super common on these things. So you got to grab back here. Usually I just roll the window down and make them close from up here, because if that breaks off, my heart's gonna break. And I don't know how easy it is to find replacements of these. They're probably not cheap either. So go up here and take a look at the drip rail. Yeah, you can see there. She's not perfect, but it's all right. There's no hail dents or anything up here. It's actually perfectly smooth. There's no hail dents on the hood or anything. Okay, let's look at the hood for a minute. And I meant to show you the door, how easy it closed and how good it closed. So, well, like that. Alrighty. Yes, the under hood light does work. I just unplugged it because it annoys me when I have the hood open and it's just sitting there draining the battery. As far as what I've done under here, no modifications power-wise have been done by me. I'm pretty convinced, because the guy told me that I got it from, that it had never been tuned or anything. Well, I don't exactly believe that, because I've got a friend that's got a 91.5, and his is a two-wheel drive, but his is an absolute dog compared to this one. And this one's not fast by any means, but his is just, it's a dog. And I've only ever driven this one and his. So going back and forth, it feels pretty obvious to me that this one's been touched. I've never taken off the cover or anything and actually looked in there, but I just have a feeling. Looks like we got a 5-year-old battery, and she's still going away, the O'Reilly Special. As far as what I've done, though, I'm going to try to run through it here and remember everything. I did the brake booster, replaced that. I've done an oil pressure sensor. My gosh, you can't see it. It's down there, though. Kind of going up where those wires are. Obviously, I've done a fuel water separator before. I did a pump reseal for the vacuum pump, power steering pump combo. Not a fun job. Not terrible, but not fun. I did a starter. I didn't replace the starter. I rebuilt the starter, which I highly recommend. And did a new radiator after I busted the drain off on the original one. So I had to put a new one in it and went with the Mishimoto. I like the lifetime warranty, so. And it looks good, I think. Upper radiator hose, after one day, it just randomly split and poured coolant everywhere, which was really fun. I think that does it for this side of the engine. Let's walk around here. I did a water pump as well. Not a fun job either. And I'm pretty sure I did the water pump. Yeah, I did that while I had the radiator out of it. Still not a fun job, even then. I think I did a thermostat as well. And then I broke a screw off in the thermostat housing, because I had my torque wrench sent to the wrong torque. So, broke that off, had to get it out. That was a good time. On this side, I just recently, what did I do? I had a leaking freeze plug, but at some point, somebody, you probably can't see anything in there, but at some point, somebody had a freeze plug, and it was leaking, and they replaced it with a block heater. And the block heater on these trucks is under here. And the freeze plug I had leaking was down there. And I hadn't really paid much attention. I hadn't looked it up or anything where the actual block heater was, because I never use it. I've never even thought about using it. And so it's behind the oil cooler down there, the freeze plug was, and so, or the now block heater. And so I got a new block heater and tried to replace it, and I could not for the life of me get that thing out of there. You'd have to take the oil cooler out, and the way the lines look and everything else, I was like, as soon as I put a wrench on this, it's gonna break. And so I was like, I'm not gonna mess with that. And so I just peeled the O-ring out and put a new O-ring on it, and it's been holding. And I was like, man, that's a terrible spot for the block heater. And I looked up and was like, wait, there's another block heater. And so I looked it up and found that, yeah, that's the original spot. And somebody just had a spare one and they stuck it in there instead of a freeze plug. So that was a fun endeavor, I must say. I was not happy with whoever did that. What else? Oh, I guess the obvious. I did a 4-inch straight pipe from the back of the turbo all the way back. And it sounds pretty good, I must say. I used to have it come out here, but the kit I used was a diamond eye. You can probably see it on the downpipe there. And it sat really low. Like, it sat kind of at the bottom of the mud flap. And I always thought that looked really goofy. I figured it should sit up higher. And you could have cut it and made it fit. But I just decided that it'd be better off for me if I just did an axle dump on it. I like how it sounds a lot better. And don't judge me, because I know that's not straight. But it doesn't matter how many times I've hit it with a hammer. It's not going to be straight. So I don't worry about it. But I do think it sounds really good, though. Oh, I've also done a transmission reseal, because it's a Dodge and Dodges leak everywhere. So I did that. I don't think I did the rear ends. I think I looked at the fluid and it looked pretty good, so I left it alone. Actually, I might have done the rear end. I didn't do the front or the transfer case, because I think that, yeah, that tag has been cleaned up, and I'm pretty sure I did that. It's also had a wheel cylinder on the left side. Nothing major. There's never been anything major done to it by me. I did drive shaft U-joints, and I did the carrier bearing. I did not do the front drive shaft, just the rear one. Not a fun job. I didn't enjoy that at all, but good experience. I don't think there's anything else that I can think of that I've done to it. There is. I hope it comes to me rather quickly. But yeah, that's my ride. I enjoy it. It's my summertime cruiser, along with that one over there. Also got the license plate covered. The main point of this video really was just to, put it out there. Before I had one of these, I always was looking up videos of them and looking at pictures and, just seeing what it was all about. And I'm hoping that maybe somebody sees this video and they maybe get inspired and maybe decide to pick one up for themselves and work on it and, learn all about them. There's plenty of guys out there making videos and making nice tutorials, which off the top of my head, Oven's Garage is who I think of. He's helped me a ton learn about this thing and makes great detailed tutorials about what goes into what. He recently did a tappet cover, and what else did he do? He did another big job pulling off the injection pump, which is a pretty big undertaking, I think. So it's something I need to do, because the tappet cover leaks just like everything else on this thing. So at some point I'll be watching that video and doing that job, but he does great tutorials. Can't recommend him enough. There's other guys I'm missing, but if you just look up First Gen Cummins, they usually pop right up. So yeah, if there's any questions about it, if anybody even watches this video, leave a comment. That would be super cool. I'll answer any question to the best of my ability. And if you stayed around to the end, can't thank you enough for your time. So if you want more videos about it, maybe I'll make a tutorial. I'm not going to say you should follow my tutorial, because normally what I do is wrong and I have to do it twice. But if you want a tutorial on what not to do, leave in the comments. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, and maybe I'll see you later.